Welcome to Reread. It's time for book 2 of the Lando Calrissian series by L. Neil Smith, Lando Calrissian and the Flamewind of Oseon. By the way, I love these covers. I love these classic covers. I think they're great. Of course, Gepta the Sorcerer is trying to seek revenge, and he's trying to assassinate Lando by placing bombs on the Millennium Falcon or killing him, sending assassins to kill him. Everything's failing, and Lando doesn't know who it is. He didn't even know Gepta's still going after him. But then Gepta kind of disappears after the beginning of this and pops up later on in the end. But I talked about in my last review how the nuances of the Falcon. L. Neil Smith, this is weird to say, he wrote the Millennium Falcon really well. Another example I want to give was in this book. Lando notices whenever he was over, he gets attacked by pirates or drone pirates. And he's on the turbo blaster laser gun, and he's shooting, and he's really overloading the gun because he's shooting at so many targets. Well, the lights start to dim in the Millennium Falcon because he's using up all the power on the turbo lasers or whatever. And then when he lets go of the trigger, you know, the gun cools off and the lights kind of brighten up again. It makes it feel like an old, worn, vehicle that has its little, like I said, little just nuances that happen around the ship. I don't think anyone ever did that before. I really don't. And I loved it. I loved it. That was at the very, toward the beginning of the book, which I thought was really good. Now, Lando, again, he gets invited to a card game. Meanwhile, they report that there's a fire on the Millennium Falcon, so he leaves the card game. There is no fire there. He's confused. Someone jumps him in an alleyway with a pipe. Lando shoots him, kills him, calls the authorities, say, hey, look, I didn't have a fire here, but some guy tried to attack and kill me. I shot him in self-defense. I just wanted you to know. They said, oh, my goodness. Well, then, we'll be right over. We'll send the police chief right over there. Because he was playing with the police commissioner, Wewa, who's a bird, a bird-like alien. And he comes to pick him up, and Lando can see that, wait a minute, this isn't just okay, buddy, we'll help you out. It was more like he said, when he goes, okay, Mr. Calrissian, come with me. He went, should I get my toothbrush? He went, yes. Like, yeah, we're going to put you in jail first, Sure, we were playing cards earlier, but now you're kind of a criminal. Well, what they get him on is not murder, because they can tell it was self-defense, but for carrying a deadly weapon on the planet. That is a death sentence. And Lando's like, wait, what? And, this guy tried to attack me. How am I supposed to defend myself? And they said, well, you did have weapons. He went, oh. And then now Lando is pissed because he knows I'm the patsy again. I've fallen for the same trick again. Okay, what do you want? And now this time there's some trillionaire and Oseon around the Flamewind, which happens every once in a while. It's like a festival. I don't know if it's yearly or whatnot, but the sky turns all sorts of different colors, and everyone comes to visit and witness the, it's like the, I can't remember what it's called now, up in the northern sky. But everyone goes to see it. It's a rich area, so there's a lot of rich people. But the richest of the rich is a guy who's addicted to some kind of drug that's like a mold that grows off lizards. It's like the hallucinogenic skin of a toad, some kind of toad that if you lick, you kind of get a trippy high off. So it's kind of based off that. But this one doesn't allow you to sleep, which basically gives you a third of your life, to keep working, to keep doing things. And so he's amassed all this wealth. Unfortunately, he has no other feelings, just goals to acquire more wealth, But, they want to get him out of there, and they want to bust him on this drug charge. Now, every year, while the colors or the Flamewind is blowing through, you can't fly through it, or it's not suggested to fly through it because it can really trip you out too. But that's when he has a secret shipment delivered to him because there's no other, starships out in the sky. And so they already busted the delivery boy, and they need someone to sit in the pilot seat and ship all the illegal drug over to the trillionaire and then bust him for drugs. And so there's I don't know if it's the commissioner. I don't know. I can't remember what his name is. There's like the commissioner, and then there's the police chief, which is Wewa. And the commissioner is someone else too, Bila or whatever, Bezla. But he seems like a good guy. He can see Lando says, oh, okay, these guys need me more than I need them, so I'm going to be smart-mouthed to them. And finally, the commissioner just kind of laughs like, get this guy's clothes back. Get him his... Oh, there's one scene where Lando tries to put his hands in his pockets, but then remembers, once again, he's not wearing pants. I love that. I love that. Seems like every time he gets into this scenario, he loses his pants. What's up with that? there's so much little humor like that in here that these books are just so charming. And the commissioner, gives him a cigar, gives him some food, says, okay, here's the deal. We need you to do this. Yes, it's a trumped up charge. Yes, we're not gonna kill you, but you need to do this for us because we gotta bust this guy. And Lando's like, okay. So they do it, but when they go through the Flamewind, of course, even the photo sensors from Vufi Ra are making him kind of go crazy because of all the colors changing all the time. So they all have to kind of chill out and do something else, but they have to watch the helm to make sure they can pilot through it. But watching all the colors change really messes with all their sensors. Like Weiwa, the bird, kind of goes crazy and pretends he's getting fed by his mama, and everyone reacts differently to it. So a little trippy, a little weird, but they finally make it to the. It talks about the trillionaire. He didn't care about anything in life, anything except this annual shipment of the drug, because he really wants the drug. But what's the purpose in life anymore? Sure, everyone tells him he's rich. He doesn't even know how much money he has now. But, it seems like nothing in life matters but that drug. And then finally the drug shipment arrives in the next chapter. The police chief and commissioner come out and say, you're under arrest. We busted you now. And the trillionaire he's not worried at all. He just looks at the bird and goes, Weira. And Weira turns the gun on the commissioner and blows his head off. That's what it says. That's how it ends. And you're like, whoa, I forgot the ending. I totally forgot the ending of this one. And then the next chapter, the trillionaire talks about how, Weira, it was, he was bribable, so I bribed him. All he wants to do is get back to his home planet with all the other birds, make his own nest or whatever. Isn't that why Weira? And Weira is like grinning and smiling because he's hated Lando. He tried to kill Lando during their trip there, and Lando is so confused, like, why? So the traitor who wants to kill me is in this ship. He went, but why would they have tried to kill me prior? Because he thinks it's the same person. Still, he doesn't understand. He knows things aren't adding up. Like, because Vufi Ra's like, do you think it's the same person who's been trying to kill us this whole time? He went, no, it doesn't make sense. And so Lando knows something's up, but doesn't realize it yet. But then it's revealed that Weira was the one that tried to kill him earlier while they were making the delivery, but failed, of course. And then after all that's revealed, the trillionaire turns and shoots Weira. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? And Lando's like, he's got a bad feeling about this now. He's like, oh no, I'm a dead man. Like, he's not going to let anyone live. He busted those two guys, but he goes, okay, here, have a cigar, Han. And Han thinks it's poison, so the trillionaire puffs both of them and gives him one, and it's a very good cigar, and they're talking and everything. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm the richest man in the world. What do? Do I kill you? I mean, you're not really involved in this, but you do seem to have a conscience. You didn't like when I saw your face when I shot those two people. He's basically toying with Lando. And Lando's like, this guy is really getting off on killing people. And the whole time I'm going, wait a minute. I thought the trillionaire didn't have a personality because of the drug he took all the time. In fact, earlier, that's what they say. That's what they say several times. I forgot the ending. The trillionaire actually got killed in between those chapters by Gepta, who comes out of he's the master of disguise, reveals himself to Lando, captures Lando, tortures him a little bit by having him go through some kind of machine that goes through some of his memories, his worst memories. And, Gepta's slowly torturing him that way. And he goes, you know why I'm doing this, Lando? Because you think, and here's why. You're thinking, wow, this is kind of elaborate. Because he set up this card game on Oseon, got Lando invited on purpose, made all these steps happen, then killed the trillionaire to impersonate him just to set Lando up like that. This seems kind of, what? But remember, Gepta is a sorcerer of ton. He is a showman, a charlatan. He's basically a drama king. Right? He likes grand things. He likes to be big reveals. And he wants to put Lando in his place because Lando walked away from the last adventure as the mastermind, right? He figured out everything. He outsmarted everyone. And he got away. And that made Gepta mad. So Gepta wanted to go through this whole elaborate scheme to make Lando look like a fool. And to show that Gepta is really the mastermind of everything. This is smart. I love it. It makes sense. You're thinking, man, I don't know. Why would he go through all this? Why not just shoot him and kill him? Because that's not the point. The sorcerers of Tun are supposed to be, are supposed to amaze and astound everyone. Lando is never impressed. In fact, he sees through their tricks. Well, that makes him mad. And since Lando got the upper hand by outwitting Gepta, now it's Gepta's turn to embarrass Lando and say, "You patsy, you fool, I've been in control the whole time," since the very beginning. And it makes sense that he would brag about this too. Not just giving you meaningless dialogue about here's how it all went down. Here's the villain giving you, the reader, the lowdown on what went down. I mean, that's what it's doing too, but because he's a braggart. He wants bragging rights over Lando. It makes so much sense. So much sense. Now, Lando gets away. The place blows up. Gepta gets away too. But Lando comes out ahead too because unbeknownst to everyone, but at the end, Vufi-Ra, Vufi-Ra, he tells Vufi-Ra he came away with 20 million. He also stole 20 million from the trillionaire's home before he left too. Just like Lando, right? He hacked into the system, found some credits, moved about 20 million over, and now he's super rich. Well, there's a weird chapter, and I haven't read the third book yet, so this may be explaining the third book, but there's a weird chapter in the end, one chapter, where a pilot recognizes Vufi-Ra, tries to kill him, and when Lando stops him, he explains to him that he killed my planet, he killed my colony on this planet. And Vufi-Ra's like, "Oh, that was my former master, I can't kill anyone, but yeah, what he did was wrong, I'm so sorry." And Lando locks him up because the pilot's still mad at Vufi-Ra. And this is the last chapter too. They just kind of insert this in there. But there's a great, this is at the very end. This is the very last two sentences, I think. But Vufi-Ra feels bad for the colony. He goes, "Master, do you know that 20 million would probably go a long way to helping for all the victims of that left over from that colony?" And you're thinking, so this is how Lando gets back to zero, right? He feels bad. He gives the 20 million back. And then Lando goes, "Heck no." He said, "I'm going to enjoy being rich." And that's how it ends. Lando refuses to give him the money. I laughed, and I laughed. I was like, that is great. He is not Robin Hood. He's a do-gooder. He knows that, but he ain't that good. And I loved it. I love it. These books are so enjoyable. Again, it's not end of the universe, galaxy ending, super great villains and whatnot. It's a fun adventure that explores Lando Calrissian, a very great character that the EU largely and sadly ignored. All right, folks, that's it for now. I'll be back with book 3.